I'm building an electric drift go-kart. Last video I welded the frame. This video I'm building the entire front half of the go-kart. Let's get to it. The first thing I needed to do for this project was reinforce the frame. I figured these welds could be a bit stronger, as they felt pretty flimsy last time. Next, I'm building a motor mount. I'm starting this design with cardboard. As you can see, I'm cutting out a template, folding it over the current steering column, and marking holes where I'm going to drill. This cardboard should be a perfect representation of what the final product would be in steel. I didn't have any metal drill bits, so I picked up these from Ace Hardware, so I could drill into this big thing of steel. I'm cutting off this U shape of steel. This steel is about 1/8 of an inch thick, and it should be plenty to hold this motor. This mount's going to be holding the motor, all the torque forces of steering, and most of my body weight, so this mount has to be strong. I'm filing these holes out so the metal pins for the motor mount can fit in easier. As you can see, they slide in, which is great. Now that this mount is assembled, it will definitely hold our motor. Now it's time to weld it. I'm making sure to clamp the motor down so it's secure and won't move. I'm putting down a weld on one side and on the opposite side. This should definitely be strong enough. For this strength test, I'm standing on it and jumping on it. This mount should be more than strong enough for any forces it'll experience during riding. For the motor, I'm taking this 250 watt, 36 volt motor from an electric scooter I recently took apart. I'm going to be pushing this motor to a bit more than 250 watts, so it should still be decently fast. For this controller, I'm using this 350 watt controller from some random seller on Amazon. I have a feeling this controller will push a bit more than 350 watts, but we won't find that out for a bit. I also got this battery from Amazon. It's a 10S 1P battery, so it'll be 36 volts, but it won't have that much amperage, so we'll definitely be able to get more power out of this motor later. Luckily, this battery shipped at 40 volts, so we should be able to test it right away. For the handlebars, I also took these from the electric scooter, as they already have a throttle, a brake, and they'll fit great on the steering column. To test this motor, we're going to need to plug in the throttle, the motor wires, and the battery. Let's see if this works. This motor has an okay amount of torque, as it's hitting my hand pretty hard. Although I think this motor is currently in mode 2, which is the default mode. So let's switch it to mode 3 and see what it does. Slower. I think that's faster. Oh, yes, that's faster. Oh my. I have a feeling that this controller was limiting top speed rather than power output, but it should be okay for our go-kart. Next, I needed to 3D print a mount for the steering column and the handlebars to fit together. I'm printing this out of PETG, so it should be more than strong enough. Unfortunately, during the middle of my 7-hour print, the cable got slightly unplugged and I had to restart it. But while it was printing, I had time to extend the motor wires and the throttle cable for this controller. Once it was done printing, I finally installed the entire front end, other than the motor. This print's feeling more than strong enough, so it should feel great. Now it was time to get our frame with the recently welded motor mount, our front end which has just been put together, and combine them along with the motor to finally see what this go-kart can look like. After plugging everything in, I realized I wired the throttle incorrectly, so I went to fix that. Now it's time for the real test. Alright, see. Oh, it's backwards. Oh my. This motor is pretty powerful, and the controller doesn't have any power adjustment, only top speed adjustment. So it'll be running full power until it reaches its top speed, which is kind of annoying, but it should be fine. The motor is running in reverse, so I plugged in some wires to try to make it go forward, then this happened. Oh my god. Yeah, I probably should have had it lifted off the ground that whole time, just in case something like this happened. Anyways, now that all the electronics are working, that's going to be all, and I'll see you next time.